What's going on, everybody on YouTube? Steve here, Raiken Profit. Welcome to a Green Room show. We've got Timothy, or Timmy. What do you like to be called, Tim or Timmy? Timothy?
You know, I've been called Tim, Timothy, Timmy my whole life, so I respond to every one of them.
All right, so we'll go with Timmy. Timmy Grapp on the show today. Title of the show is How to Run a Reselling Business When You Live in the Middle of Nowhere. And a lot of you folks are probably thinking, Steve, yeah, in the middle of nowhere, we'll see. But we're going to get to that because he's got a pretty impressive story in terms of his hustle and what it actually takes for him to get the things we probably take for granted, which is inventory. So why don't you introduce yourself? Tim, say hello. What's your story? Who are you? And how did we end up connecting?
All right, so I'm Timmy Grapp. I've been selling for about 4 years or so. Just kind of hustling, learning the craft as I went. I watched a lot of Steve and Bonafide to learn a bunch of stuff, and really that's kind of how it is. I'm doing Amazon FBA, I'm doing eBay, I started on merch, I'm doing YouTube, and I'm helping my girlfriend run a dance and gymnastic business as well. So I'm a busy guy.
Dude, and I owe you a shout out, man, because dude, the other day I threw Tim
cut me down.
Bus, man. He just got chopped down so hard. You must have been in awe. He actually told me behind the scenes, like, listen, you got to check out this new app called Over. It's great for making designs. And then I completely forgot who told me, and I loved it. And I made a video, and I gave the credit to two guys who were my friends who I thought they told me about it. So shout out to you for that. So you're doing eBay right now. You're selling on Amazon FBA. How long have you been doing this for? Are you full-time, part-time? What's the deal with that?
So Amazon FBA has been about 2 years. I am full-time now, been almost for about a year. eBay, I started with eBay, and then I transitioned to Amazon, and that kind of took over. And then in the last year, I've been transitioning back into doing both because you really need both to me, and it's super important. So yeah, I've been transitioning back, getting more sales that way, but I'm 90% Amazon FBA.
And how long in total did you say you've been reselling for?
About 4 years. I actually started selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which is like a trading card game, kind of like Pokemon, but it's I look at it as a chess game, but the pieces are worth a lot of money. So like there's cards that are like, they're cardboard pieces of paper and they're hundreds of dollars. So that's how I ended up starting. People would take cash instead of trade, and I could get them for half price just over and over, and then resell them on eBay. And that's kind of how it all started.
Awesome. And you also have a YouTube channel that you've been working very hard on building up. So I definitely want to share that and really try to expand the community out with people that are like you. So why don't you shout out your channel and tell them a little bit about that before we get into the good stuff.
All right. So channel is Make Cash Money. Pretty good name, I tell you what.
Make Cash Money. Oh, man. What do you work at a pawn shop?
Maybe. No. But yeah, it's just a way for me to give back. I mean, like I learned a lot from like you guys, and for me have been doing it for a while now. I feel like in some ways it's a responsibility to help people that need that push. Or my biggest thing is you see all these YouTube videos where people just talk. They don't put their money where their mouth is. They don't put their money on actual products. And for me, I like to show you exactly what I'm buying, as long as it's not no RA stuff, but some stuff so you can see that I'm actually putting my money on products, and you can go check completed listings, and you can take that and apply it for your own, and use that confidence maybe that I had to purchase it, and use that confidence for yourself. So
awesome, man. Awesome. So yeah, he's definitely got some pretty cool videos over there. I've been enjoying them. Make Cash Money. It is linked up down below. I believe it's the third link. So check it out. We'll be sure to shout your channel out again at the end of the show. Get people over there to subscribe and check out some of the cool content. A few things I want to mention before we jump in. We're going to get started any minute. Number one, Chris. You guys, Chris thought that the show was in an hour from now. He's got to learn the difference between Central and Eastern time. Do you understand the difference between Central and Eastern?
Well, I actually messaged you. I was like, what time is that for here? And you're like, 7. I'm like, all right, good.
He has no excuse, though, so I'm throwing him under the bus right now.
I didn't know when I asked the question.
Right. Yeah. Hey, it happens. Well, Chris is going to be on in a couple minutes. This is a green room show. If you guys are in the green room event, tickets are closing for that in literally 9 days. greenroomuniversity.com/tickets. Got to be a member to come. Check out the free book down below, 100 amazing items to resell. And without further ado, let's jump into the video. So first thing I want to talk about with you is, you know, the title of the show says running a business like literally in the middle of nowhere. So let's talk about what in the middle of nowhere means, because I guarantee you there's people watching right now who are either A, they want to get started reselling, but they live in the middle of nowhere, or B, they're having a hard time acquiring inventory because maybe they don't live near any thrift stores or live near any retail stores. So what does middle of the nowhere mean for you?
So let me put it this way. My town that I live in, we do not have a stoplight. There is no stoplight in my town. You can literally drive through my town in like 2 minutes. It's like that quick. So I think it's like 2,000 people, but it's like all woods. There's woods and then the main strip of town, and that's it for like at least a half an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how far away is like your nearest Goodwill?
So if I drive half an hour, there is a Goodwill, but it's one of the really small mom and pop ones. But it's like it's not like the big ones where you have like all these sections, like electronics, everything. It's like you walk in, there's a display case with like jewelry in it, some clothes, some shoes, and then like a tiny section with like a couple electronics, and it like never changes. They price everything really high.
There's like no donations coming in because nobody lives anywhere close.
I mean, like if you go a half hour, it's a little bit bigger of a town, but there's like not much there. There's one Walmart, one Target, and like a Best Buy. But other than that, you can only hit those so many times in a week. You know what I mean? And then there's one Salvation, but it's again really crappy, done really poorly. I'll give you a story. I went into Salvation Army, and they do auctions. They do silent auctions on items, which is awesome, right, guys? No, it's not. They had a Monopoly game, and it's brand new sealed. I went and looked at it, and the starting bid was $10, brand new sealed. And the auction was supposed to go for a week. It was 3 weeks after it was supposed to end. So I asked the lady at the front counter, I'm like, hey, I'm interested in this. It didn't sell, you know, who do I talk to about, you know, pricing it or whatever? And she's like, well, you got to talk to the owner. It's like, okay, great. So I talked to the owner and I explained the same thing. And I was like, because their starting bid was $10. And I was like, would you guys take 5 on it? And she's absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I was like, dang, she was super rude about it. And, you know, I kept my cool and I was like, well, okay, your starting bid was $10. You know, how about I'll do the $10 because I was still going to make like $5-8 on it.
There were no bids. It wasn't like you were
no bids. This is four weeks after it ended. And I was like, how about I just do the $10? That's what you guys are starting out. And she's like, no, I priced it that because I knew it was going to be, you know, going up from there. It's a $20 game, sealed brand new. There's no way I'm going to sell it. And I was just like, woo. And I just left and walked out the door. You know, I was about to blow my top a little bit there, but I left. And that's just a good example of kind of the area I'm dealing with where they don't know pricing. They don't want to move it. They just want to sit there, get dirty, and mix with everything else. So
makes you wonder how they stay in business. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think what it is that Salvation. I don't know if it's all of them, but people come in with basically like vouchers.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's from the city or the state, and they're allowed to use that to get merchandise or whatever. So I know that's part of it, but I don't know 100% how that works. So I'm not going to talk about it.
So you have to literally drive out like 30 to 60 minutes to find a Goodwill. You find a Goodwill, there's like nothing there. You find a Salvation Army, it's all like auction, which fingers crossed that it doesn't come to my area, which it probably will. Where Chris lives, the bona fide hustler in Austin, Texas, all the Goodwills, well, I think all or most of them, at least a couple, they do the auctions, and like it's tough. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's how we eat off those deals, off those, you know, those when they drop the ball, you know, and you know, you get that stuff through the loose cracks at $8 item you flip for 100. I mean, they're being auctioned. So let's ask the magic question. Let's get right to it. So you're full time, right?
Yep.
You've been selling for 4 years. How in the world are you able to source enough inventory for your eBay and Amazon business living so far away? Because let's be real. you want to grow your
Yep.
business. There's quite a few things you have to do right, but the big one, it doesn't matter, is you've got to source enough inventory, right?
Yep. Yep.
So how are you doing it?
So I'm getting up and I'm driving about 2 hours. That's average time to the Minneapolis, the downtown areas, whatever. Where even once you get there, it's still like 15, 20 minutes between Goodwill, Savers, Walmart, Target, all these different places. So like for me, like I I plan accordingly. So like an average week for me, especially in the summertime with garage sale season going on, because I live in Minnesota, half our year is winter. So when it's summertime, that's the time to strike or whatever. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm literally listing, boxing up for Amazon FBA, working on merch, working on YouTube, working on my girlfriend's business. And then as soon as Wednesday night hits, go to bed. I get up at like 4 in the morning to get ready. Because for some reason in Minnesota, our garage sales like always start on Thursday, which is a
Really?
strange. Yeah, it's
Like
super
always, it's
strange.
just known. Like in Connecticut, we
Yeah,
call them tag sales. Everybody knows. You probably don't even
yeah.
know what a tag sale
No,
is.
never heard of it. But yeah, like it's crazy. Like some of them were like even start Wednesdays. So most of them though, like community wides, are always going to start on a Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday.
Like
But as
what
far as
time on Thursday? Like Thursday night? Like don't people
like
work?
like 7 in the morning,
Nobody works over there.
I swear it's like 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So
Wow.
I'll literally
Huh.
go to bed Wednesday after I did a bunch of work, different shipment, get up at 4, because I don't want to get there at 8 or 7 when they open. I need to get there to early bird to get ahead of the competition. So I'm there early to begin with. So if it's an 8 o'clock starting citywide, I'm there at 7:30 at least, if not earlier. So that's getting up. I'm going Thursday, doing that until midday when they kind of dry up. Then I transition. Then I'm going thrift store to Walmart to Target, and then I'll get a hotel normally, and then do it all over again Saturday. And depending on how the car is, I'll do it Sunday too.
Wow. So you're like the time that you're out there in the jungle and you're hunting and you're gathering and you're getting everything
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday. That's
Yeah.
kind of it, right?
Well,
That's your hunting, your gathering.
that's like when for me is like my prime time. That is when I have to focus and be super motivated to get the most merchandise, because that is for me the only way to get enough merchandise and really, you know, put enough in a week to keep working through the week before it's time to go again. So yeah, for me it's super important. So like I mean I can get some deals around here, but it's somewhere far in between, you know, like I have Craigslist and sometimes you'll get lucky on there, but it's not very often you'll get a deal. And a lot of times people know value up here, which is very odd. But sometimes you'll get lucky. But I'm so busy as it is because I have that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I kind of pull what Night does. I'm like, no, you gotta come to me. I ain't going anywhere. I'm busy, and I'll come down and get it. But it's not very often. And the WalMarts and Targets, the one that I have here, each I actually know people that work there, but they're high velocity or high volume stores. So there's no competition to them. There is nothing. So their clearance is like, if it's a $13 item, it's $12.50 for 6 months. And it's ridiculous. And I get so like I get mad sometimes when I go in there because I'll go to the
Yeah, it
cities
happens.
and I'll find some Legos or something that were clearance out of their area for like $5 a piece, and I come up here and they're still like $23 for like ever. So it's just
Precision.
depending on the store. So like that, the stores up here just super no competition. They don't really have to let go of their stuff as easy. And that's what the people that work there tell me too. They're like, they'll ask for me. They're like, hey, when are we gonna mark that stuff down? And they're like, never. Pretty much. They don't mark it down like ever.
Hey, I see that auction that you've had running. There's no bids on it for like 36 months. Is there any
Yeah.
way that you sell it to me for like a decent
For
price?
a decent price, or even you're asking starting bid and they wouldn't do it.
You know, the one thing I like about you though, and I was just talking about this on one of my previous YouTube videos, is, you know, when you're dealt like a crappy card, or you're faced with an obstacle or a challenge, whether it's the prices going up high or like the auctions are crazy or like you live far away, you don't just take the cards you were dealt. Like you say, screw these cards, like, and you make something happen, right? So I want to take a second before the next question to just applaud you. And I'd like everyone to smash the like button for Timmy right now. Hit the like button,
Hit
show
that
some
like
love,
button,
because
guys.
we all take it for granted. Like, I know at least I do. Maybe some of the folks in the chat don't. How easy it is to get inventory. I have so many Goodwills and Savers. Like, honestly, you would probably pee your pants if you lived where I live.
I
Just
wish,
because,
man.
you know what I mean? So
it is.
smash the like button for that. That's just
when I see that,
win that.
I'll see people post their garage sale pictures of like yard sale treasure map, and I'm like, why can't that be me? Why?
I don't even have that many houses in my whole
No, it's
neighborhood
awful,
doing
man.
garage sales.
It's awful. Like on a given day in like the little bit bigger of a town down the road, it's like 10 maybe. That's a good day for sales if there's 10 in that area.
Let me ask you a question. For people that are in similar shoes as you, they don't live super close to other thrift stores, or maybe folks who just want to plan road trips. Any tips for planning extended road trips? Any challenges that you've dealt with, obstacles you've dealt with that you were able to overcome by learning something, or a system you put in place, or whatnot? Any tips on that?
So there's one thing that I think everyone should do, especially if they're doing thrift stores and stuff like that, is, and I have it on one of my videos, is bring testing supplies. So what that means is when you're at a thrift store, like, I know it might sound weird, but I do it. I have like in my pocket or whatever, I have a little Ziploc bag, and it's got like 4 AA batteries, a couple of AAA, a small screwdriver. Like I have one even sitting right here, kind of like one of these small little screwdrivers, something like that, and some headphones. And I even have a charging base that lets you plug into things USB.
Got it.
And I bring that in. So when I see like a Sony CD player and it's $4 or $5, you know, for me, I can't come return it. I'm not going to be, you know, I might be next week. I might miss my window for returning. So I need to test it right then and there. So I pop it open, grab one of their CDs, throw some batteries in it, make sure it works before I even purchase it. And I think you guys should be doing that always with everything you can. So that's, you know, something you guys can do, because then it limits, you know, having to come back and waste time to return. And for me, like I live so far away, I might miss my return window. So
yeah,
that's a good one. Oh, bring water, whatever you do. Cause I'm going. I'll leave and I won't eat until like 8 o'clock. Cause I have to take that time just to go. So I got to be chugging water, have some snacks, or you're going to faint out there.
That's a weird question. I can't believe I'm actually going to ask you this live on camera. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, guys. Do you want me to ask a very odd, weird question?
I'm sure they're going to be like, yes.
I think they.
Well, you made them all curious now.
Yeah, I don't know if I should say this. This, you know, if there's kids watching, no, this isn't that bad. For me personally, like, I always have to pee on the road. Like, how do you deal with like drinking and staying hydrated when a lot of these thrift stores, let's just be real, they don't even have bathrooms that they allow you to use.
So I mean, I have because I do that too. But what I do is because garage selling, obviously, there's nowhere to go unless you're like, I'll give you an extra $5 to let me use your bathroom or something weird.
What? Have you ever done that?
I never offered someone money, but I did it one time. I was at this garage sale and I had to go for like 2 hours, and there was this nice old lady and she's just talking to me, and you know, there was other people there, and she's just charming me up, and I'm like, all right, I'm going for it. I'm like, I gotta ask you, can I use your bathroom? She's like, oh sure, absolutely. And she like brought me inside.
Like some cookies?
She's like, stay a while. No, I'm just kidding. No, she let me go, but it was, I normally plan it out because I'm the same way. I go to the bathroom a lot because you're so excited and you're just going. It happens all the time. So like in the morning, I'll try not to drink like really anything when I go. 2-hour trip, maybe I'll have a little coffee or a little bit of water, but I try not to drink too much until it's towards the end of the garage selling time, because then I have my Goodwills that have bathrooms and Savers and Walmarts that have bathrooms. So just taking what's dealt to you and planning accordingly, I guess, is the best way to do it.
How do you plan out like how do you plan out like your extended road trips, like knowing what stores you're going to hit, like planning out your garage sales and everything like that, because you're traveling far, like time is of the essence, right? And like, especially during garage sales, it's that golden hour. I think Bonafide Hustler coined it. Maybe someone else did. I don't know. But how do you plan it out?
So we plan it out. We figure out, for me, especially in the summer, it's always the citywides when I can, because that's your biggest population at one moment having sales. And it also limits travel to like a bunch of different ones, like blocks and blocks down or a city over, because it just is a big cluster. And like there'll be like neighborhoods where you come in like where through the gate or through that area, and it's literally 20 houses in a row that are just having sales. So like you plan it out. For us, we look to make sure they have maps, so you can say like a random city they're having theirs. You can search the city, search their information to the city and the sale, and most times they'll have a map telling about how many sales they're going to have, where they're located, what other things they might have, whatever. So you can plan it that way. So there'll be times where there'll be two cities that I can go to, but I will choose one over the other one depending on the amount. I'll also choose by I'll search the population of the city. So if there's and their average income. So if their average income is $90,000 and there's like 50,000 people, and the other one is half that, I'll always choose the other one unless there's like 3 sales over here and like 15 or
How
something
important
like
do you
that.
think there really is the income level? And that's kind of like a rhetorical question in a sense, but
I think it matters in some regards. Like sometimes it doesn't matter because say that's the only sale going on, so you're gonna automatically go there. But I do see a difference. I do. Just in quality, it's quality item sometimes, and the other part of it is they don't care about their item necessarily so much either. Like a good example of this is I went to one recently and I showed a picture in the green room. I go up and this guy's got this Bose item. I forget exactly what it was, like a speaker box or whatever it was. And I go up there and he's got it for $20. It's a $250 item, $20. And I talk him down. I tell
you
him,
got it, man. You gotta see what you're
and
good for.
and I told him 10. He's like, I don't know. How about 15? He's like, I don't know what it is. I don't even care what it is. Fine, 15, we'll call it a deal. I'm like, sure, not a problem. Threw my money at him. I posted and sold like two days for like 200 and some bucks to Hawaii or something like that.
Wow.
It happens all the time. And like, they don't know what their items are either. Like they had some good toys and some other stuff. And they're like, I don't even know where I got that.
People don't even know.
I just want to get rid of it. And I'm right there giving them the cash and making a bunch later.
You know what's funny? There's thrifters that I know in my local area, and I talk to them all and like, shoot the breeze with them, whatever. And there was this one reseller that I came across, and I'm like, hey man, did you hit garage sales today? He's like, nah, garage sales are a waste of time.
What?
And I'm thinking to myself, like, not only do sellers of these garage sales not even know, but there's like resellers out there. Like, you ever come across like those OG resellers who are like hunting down books like without the scanning app? Like there's people out there who don't even realize how much money's to be made in garage sales. If you're watching right now, let me know, is anybody watching right now who's never been to a garage sale, like trying to buy stuff? Because it's just ridiculous. Like
the markup is ridiculous. It is so huge.
Is that like one of your top 5 most funnest things to do ever? Like for me, it's up there.
Dude, I'm like addicted to garage sales, man. I love them so much. It's not even funny. Like, cause my girlfriend, she loves going with me. Like, I'll literally go on a Friday or a Thursday, and I'll literally, cause she had, classes teaching, she'll really be like, tell me I have to drive all the way back up that night to get her because she wants to go so bad. And it's something we really like to do together. It's fun. And for me, I've always been like kind of like a treasure hunter. Like when I was a kid, I'd be going at the laundromats and I'm like looking underneath all the washers and dryers and for quarters and all that stuff. So like for me, it's just like this rush of treasure hunting and out talking maybe a person, negotiating. I like that a lot too, where you can test what they really know and what they don't know. And most times they don't know. And for me, I'll just almost, I don't want to say like school them, but I'll talk at them so much that they have no idea what it's worth and they just want to get rid of it to make me go away.
Get rid of it, get rid of you.
Get rid of me. Because like a lot of times people will put video games at ridiculous pricing, and I'll just go on a spiel. Like a good example is like Xbox 360. They'll have one of them out there and they're like, I don't know, just the S console, and they're asking like $200. And I'm just like, oh, that's getting old now. There's the white console they came out with, that was the first gen, and then a black one that came out, and then the Elite, and then they're on like 3 different ones of these. Plus they're going out of style because the Xbox One is here, and they're just like, you can just see their brain and their eyes like roll backwards and
brain is just frying in front of your eyes.
And they're like, oh, I didn't even know, what's actually a good deal. I'm like, and sometimes, a lot of times when it's like good video games, I'll be straight up with them. I'll tell them, hey, I'm gonna buy to resell or buy to collect a couple and sell
I
the
do that
rest.
too.
And it also makes them trust you more, and they're still willing to deal with you. Like if there's like a Zelda game and they're asking 40 or something like that, and I'll be like, hey, I buy to resell. It's really, selling for, 25. For me to make a little bit on it, I need to be at like whatever,
People
10.
respect that.
Yeah, and they'll
Yeah, they
respect
do.
it, and they'll work with you on it too, some of the time, because they don't play anymore. They want to get rid of it.
You'll also find 10% of the people who, if they found out you're a reseller, they won't even sell it to you. Like, it
Yeah,
happens. But the
it does.
majority of people will respect it, because the majority of people can just tell based on body language that you're up to something sketchy. Like, it's been
Well,
like when I'm like looking things up on my phone and like,
yeah, yeah.
I'll just admit it. And they're like, oh, cool. Like, we'll give you a deal if you get a bunch. Like, we don't want to bring this stuff back in the garage. And I'm like, fantastic.
Hmm. It depends. Like for me, like I love reading like body language. So like I'll go in, and if the person's looking like they're already having a bad day, I'll just like, oh no, I'm just texting or something, because I know they're just kind of one of those people for the most part.
Or
Not
you can say, I'm
always,
hooking
but
up reviews. I've done that
yeah,
as
I
well.
do that all the time. Like I was at a little book sale, like a teeny tiny book sale in my town, and I was looking it up, and some old lady, she's like, "What are you doing? I see you doing something with these books." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just checking the reviews, see how many, people are reading it, see if it's any good or not, and if I want to buy it or not." She's like, "Oh, that's really cool. What is it?" And I'm like, uh, "I don't remember the name of the app," and I just kept walking. So it
That's cool,
happens,
man.
but
Let's transition over to selling on eBay right now. Let's get into some
sure.
pretty fun content. Um, what are your top five, or what are five of your favorite items that you enjoy selling on eBay? Maybe I don't know if I'd consider it bread and butter, but just five of your favorite that maybe the viewers can look into a little more and maybe be on the lookout for them when they're out there hunting down deals within 15 minutes or so, not 2 hours away.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to say about it is anything I can't sell on Amazon. Basically, for that's like my number thing I want to say about that, because it is the perfect place. That's why it's so important to have both platforms. Anyway, so let's see one of the things I love selling on eBay is, and you've talked about it before, is expired ink. Love it.
Mm.
It is a gold mine, and people just pass it up, and you
I have
can,
dreams about it sometimes, to be honest
yeah.
with
Like I just
you. Like,
sold
bad dreams.
a thing of ink for like $30. I got for like $3 from a garage sale, because I go up there and I look at it and it's expired, and I'm like, oh, I was gonna think about buying this, and it was like $10. And I was like,
Yeah.
but it's expired. I don't know if it's gonna. I give them a spiel. I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna work. It could be dried up. I bought them before where they kind of work and then they stop after a while. And they're like, oh, I had no idea it was expired. Well, and I was like, if I'm gonna buy it, I'll risk like $2-3 on it. And they're like, well, I'll do three. Okay, I buy it, and I just sold it for like $30. So expired ink is an awesome thing.
Let me jump into a quick tip, and I just popped on some ink the other day, expired. If the ink is usually you'll find ink taped onto a printer or like
Yep.
next to a printer. Always
Yep.
ask if they will sell the ink without the printer, because and always use this line. There's probably ink already in the printer, and there usually is, right? So try to negotiate to get it, like, and you'll usually get it dirt cheap, like $5 or less. Like, I love it. I've done it so many times.
I'll give you another one to go up there and say, you'll look at the ink and it'll be attached to printer, and they'll kind of look at you like, I'm like, hey, would you guys sell the ink? I already own this printer, but I'm really getting
Of
low.
course.
Do you think you could just sell the ink? And more times than not, and they'll be asking like $30 for this printer, and you'll get the ink that's the actual value for like $3-4, and they just have stuck with this printer that it's no good.
What's the funniest thing? I'll get into zone so much, like negotiating a deal to get the ink like without the printer. They'll be like, "Oh, you have the HP Pavilion X427." I'm like, "Yeah, I actually do." But I don't like lying, man. But sometimes like you just get backed into the corner and you don't have any other option but to give a little white lie. It sucks.
Yeah,
But
it's part of the hustle. Like, I mean, it may be a lie, but that doesn't change the fact if they're wanting to sell it or not. Honestly,
I did that the other day with a what was it? One of those blades that go onto like an engine on a boat, and like I got backed into the corner, and he's like, "You own a Mercury, like blah blah blah," and I'm like, "I do."
absolutely.
I don't know, but anyways, so that's number one, expired ink. What's number two?
So another good one is untested items. So I in my video I just had one of these. So I was actually out of Savers, and they had a Dymo 450 turbo printer, and it was on the shelf for $3, and I plugged it in, and the light came on and everything, but you know, that's all you can really do in the saver is do that far. And I got it home, and I don't use Dymo. I use Zebra printers, and I didn't want to go through the process of downloading the drivers for the Dymo and setting it up to test it because it might affect my Zebra. I don't know if it woulda, but just I didn't want to deal with it. Yeah, pair up or something, or it'll try to recognize it when it's not there. So what I did is I just took it and I went and I wrote right on eBay, you know, Dymo 450 Turbo, untested, buying as is. I bought it. I plugged it in. The light comes on. That's as far as I got. It seemed to feed paper, but you know that's as far as I got. Untested. You're buying as is, and I do this a lot. No returns because we all know they can get around it a little bit.
58 days later.
No returns, and it was super funny because it was when they on Amazon were having their turbo the sale on those, the same exact model, and they were like half price. You could buy one brand new on Amazon for like $30. It was like this crazy sale that they had going like a week or two ago, and someone bought my untested. I don't know if it works for it was like $33. You know, free shipping, whatever. $33 when you could buy a brand new one in the package for $30, and that just goes to show that people really aren't, you know, double crossing
around, and
they're not shopping around. So a little bit, you know, don't be necessarily scared. Just look at the market of where you're trying to price it at. And eBay was like right around $30, and I kind of priced it up there, and I was like, see what happens. And it sold within a couple days or so. And so far, I haven't heard nothing back. But I mean, like I said, I clearly stated, untested, didn't do anything with it. You know, hope for the best, and someone decided to take that risk. So
number 3.
Oh, let's see what do we got. I like shoes. I'm not a huge, not huge into shoes, but there's something about them, man. Like I know you've talked about before. There's just this clean cut feeling from shoes. I don't know what it is. I can't really describe it, but when you're going to a Savers and you look at the racks, you like one will just kind of like have a little gleam to it, and you're like, I'm gonna go check that one out. And
that's an Allen Edmonds right there.
Yeah, and that's a perfect that's what I actually learned first. Jameson actually, we were at a garage sale together, and he led me on to some Allen Edmonds, and he hooked me up. He's like, if you work the deal out, you can have them, because he wasn't doing really eBay at the time. So I went up there, I got them for like $10, sold them for like $50, and from then on, I'm always looking for Allen Edmonds. And then I actually picked up a pair Bonafide I talked about, some fly nets the other day. They were mint condition. I just swear the person just bought them and threw them back in the box. I don't even know what they were doing with them. Paid $5 for them, sold for like $40-$50 or something like that. Super good condition. So shoes are really fun. Like I said, there's just something about them, the clean cut feeling. Boots are good too.
And that average price per sale, man, getting the 40, 50, 60. So before we go to number 4, look what the cat dragged in.
What is up, guys?
Craigslist over Green Room show. Isn't that right, man?
Hey, man. You got to get
talk to people. What did you just do?
I just sold a bike that I picked up for $140. I used it. I think I broke pieces of it, and I sold it for $275.
Did you sell it untested? No, I'm just kidding.
What'd you say?
Sell it untested?
Yeah, no, it was definitely tested, 100%.
He's gonna be back at your door in like 3 weeks for a refund.
He's gonna show up in a submarine suit with a Davy Crockett hat. Anyway, hey man, Brad's here, guys. Brad's here.
So tell everybody who you are real quick, and we're gonna get on.
Okay, so you're doing such a great job on the. That's what's so cool about this like YouTube show. I was watching you guys as the guy was going to the ATM. He's like, "All right, I got $50 on me. Let's make a deal. I gotta get the rest of my money." I was like, "That's cool." He takes off. I whip out my phone. I start watching you guys, and I'm sitting there like at the gas station with this bike in front of me. It's hot as hell, and yeah, I'm watching you guys while I'm about to make some money. That's pretty crazy. Anyway, and then I listen to you guys on the way home because my Bluetooth picks up in my SUV. So I'm like listening to.
You're in the spaceship?
Check this out. When I actually got on the show and I was listening to you guys, Raiken's like, I don't know if it's just me, but like I always have to pee when I go out and stuff. And I'm like, what is going on with the show, man? The show is off the track immediately.
This is what happens when you don't host the show, man.
I know, dude, for real. Anyway, so I'm the Bonafide Hustler. I reside in Austin, Texas. I'm one of the co-owners of the Green Room. That's pretty much everyone knows my story and Raiken's story. We're here for a fantastic guest, and Raiken, you're doing a great job on the outline. So just continue with it, and I'll play Raiken now in the background.
All right, what are you going to go use the bathroom? No.
I'm going to jump on this trampoline, actually.
So let's talk about number 4. Right now we're talking about, well, 5 items that Timmy really likes to sell on eBay. He mentioned expired ink. He mentioned untested items. He mentioned shoes. And now you're on your 4th item.
So the 4th item, and it's specific kind of for the summertime right now, is, and it's kind of anytime really, but they're super hot right now, is workout DVDs are really hot right now. And I explained this in one of my videos, like in the last couple months, like I've picked up so many P90X, the 12 lot, whatever in that pack, whatever. And
I never find them.
They like sell like instantly. I'll post them in, like I'll post them at a garage sale since I've already done it before. I'll just take my same listing and post it, and I'll sell it sometimes before I even get to the next one. It's like a $30 item all day. I was selling them consistently for 30. And then I just upped the price to see what happened. I was like at 33 or something like that, and still sold both of them that I had found. And you find them for cheap most times. The last couple I found, they'll put like $15 price tags on them, and I'll normally get them for $5. They use them, or they decided they're not going to use them, and they just sell them off. So any of the P90X are really good. There's like different versions. I sold like a white version, and it was like P90X something, whatever, and that one sold for like close to 50.
I think you're talking about Beachbody in general. Anything that Beachbody produces is really decent stuff.
Yeah, it sells quick, especially like right now, everyone's trying to get in shape for going swimming and everything else. So
yeah,
I will tell you guys the best freaking DVD to be on the lookout for. Have you guys ever found the Les Mills body pump DVDs?
Les Mills. I haven't found the Les Mills. I found the Billy Blank's Tybo one where he's like expired and he's like different looking now, but those still did really well.
These things go like I found like 6 or 7 of them once at one Goodwill, and I swear everyone sold for between $30 to $65.
Used or new?
Used.
Dang. Wow. That's awesome.
And there's like 150 various like ones. Like it's crazy. So cool. That's number 4. What do you got for number 5, Tim?
So number 5, good thing I talked about like in my last video on YouTube is use video game lots. It's a great way to get rid of crappy video games that aren't worth anything individually. I talk about in my video where you'll go to a garage sale and you'll pick up a PS2 for $15, but it comes with 20 games that are worth literally nothing Amazon, or it's like 10 cents or something. It's just not worth it. And what I'll do is I'll just save them up in bins, and I'll have like 3-4 bins, 300-400 video games. The last one I did, I think I had about 300-400 video games, sold for like $280 with like $50 shipping. And it was just crap. It, like, to me individually, it had no value, but someone was either going to buy it and break it up into smaller lots and sell them that way, or they had a store where they're just going to sell each one for a couple dollars and make it that way. I don't really know. I don't care. I'm just going to sell them. So that's one thing I like to use eBay for.
Awesome. Cool. So those are definitely 5 actionable items that you guys, or types of products you guys could be on the lookout for. I have a question for you, Chris, which is going to segue into the next question for Timmy. How are your sales right now on eBay, Chris? Would you consider it like amazing or slow, or what are your thoughts?
I think there's, I wouldn't classify them as amazing, or I wouldn't classify them as slow either. I think what it really comes down to is honestly like what you pick, right? If you stick if you stick to your guns and you're sitting there like, I'm having slow sales, it could mean a couple of things. It could mean the market's just changing a little bit. Some of the things aren't selling for what you thought they were. It could also mean that there's a bit of a dry spell. Sometimes you get not many sales in April when people have to pay taxes and stuff. I mean, there's just cyclical things. Like right now, we're about to be in summertime, and people are saving up for summer trips, and they're wanting to go places. I mean, buying a Flyknit or something like that is not really on their radar right now. Right now, it's like afford the trip and get the kids happy and send them to camp. There's things to shell out money for right now. So I think there's seasonality to it. But if you buy really good stuff and you don't go outside of your, how should I say it? If you know yourself, right? If you trust what you know and you don't buy stupid things, you should be okay each and every time. You should be able to understand if your eBay sales are slow or fast. You should know exactly why.
I hear so many people complaining about slow summer sales, and I don't see it. I mean, over the last couple of days, it's been a little slow, but I haven't been listing a ton. I always see a direct correlation between the items I pick, the quality, the market size, and how often I'm listing. So for the people out there who are stating that sales are slow, and it's been known to be a little slower in the summertime. Tim, what are you, what's your advice for how to deal with, slow sales? What do you do to combat that?
Well, for me, I haven't noticed it, honestly. Like,
well, thanks for your help, Tim.
Yeah, I haven't noticed it. It honestly, like, for me, like, I don't want to hold on to stuff. When it comes to eBay, I don't really like long tail stuff to begin with. So, like, I'll pick up things that I know are going to sell instantly, like, those DVDs, like TI-83s, just stuff like that I know people are going to want. Something I would say to people that are saying slow, maybe they don't have enough experience yet to know, maybe they did really good December, fourth quarter, they did really good. And then, this part of the year is normally where this is at, but they think they should still be in fourth quarter or something. And they don't understand that there's ups and downs to it. Maybe I would say experience could hold some of that. Another thing is, your tactics, I guess. Are you buying items that are long tail and you just think they should sell quickly, or sometimes some do and some don't? Maybe, it could be any of those things. It could be a number of different things that go into it. So just to say it's slow, I think I don't want to say that. It's just maybe you're picking the wrong items, or you're not experienced at this moment to know what to buy during the summer.
Chris, is a product long tail, or is it a combination of the product and your pricing structure? What are your thoughts on that?
Repeat that question again. Is a product long tail?
What makes something long tail? Is it the actual product, or is it the seasonality, or the pricing, or the market size, or the buyer demand? What's long tail for the people who are
long tail? Is essentially, it could be a great product, but long tail is a product that just based on eBay research, and there could be a pretty decent supply, as in unsolds. But that in the sold market, there's like maybe 4 or 10, right? And so that already shows you in the past 90 days, with all the people that have that product in eBay right now that you could buy it, in the past 90 days, it's selling on average 4 or 10 times. That's pretty much a long tail item. A super long tail item will be something that's like 1 or 2 times in the past 90 days. And then you have these astronomical items where you're just taking a complete gamble and there's no evidence, but it's so cheap that you have to buy it anyway. So I think a long tail item is dictated upon the research that you do on eBay on the spot, like right there. And you can decide whether it is going to be long tail or not. You'll know pretty much immediately if this item. Now, it also has the chance of selling quickly, right? It does.
Yeah.
But the data is just data, man. I mean, that's just what it is. So one of the best things you can do, and someone in the green room, we talked about this on an internal green room show, was that before you buy the item, and if you see 4 or 10 sold, check the active market too. Like, check the active market, because if the active market has 100, that's not really good, right? If the active market has 5, then you might have one of the good ones out of the 5. You might have a better model out of the 5. But if it's got 100, yeah, exactly. If it's got 100, I mean, shoot, that's probably not something you want to pick up. So anyway, that's just my insight on it.
Hey, Tim,
what's up?
Keep going.
I was just saying, if you're not looking at completed, then I don't know what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, for me, I'll look at completed, and if it's got 3, 4, 5 out of a whole bunch, I normally just leave it because I don't want to hold on to it. For eBay, for Amazon, I'll take longer because it's not here; it's out of my hair. But I'll normally pass on those items because I don't want to wait that long. I don't want to hold it in my inventory room. So
here's a great question from the feed from James Pope. Would a TI-83 Plus be considered long tail because school is out? This is a very easy question to answer, and I'm gonna go with Tim. Go ahead, Grap.
No, I just sold one like 2 of them in the last week or two. Like, it sells instantly.
They're always in demand.
But the price will go lower. You can't price it.
Man, it's like,
I don't know. Like,
I've sold so many, dude. Try it.
I sell them, like, I just look at the last couple sold and I price right there, and it sells every time right there.
I've been getting $37 and $40 for each TI-84 that I just sold. Like,
yeah.
I mean, just
that's
the cover.
Like nothing
that's
for a TI-84. Like during school season, like that'll go up like 30%.
Well, I'm necessarily talking about TI-83.
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Are you talking about on eBay or Amazon?
Hey, we're talking eBay because on Amazon you can't
an
sell
84. I just sold an 84 recently for it was much more than 47. I think it was like 59 or something, or 61.
I sold an 84 recently.
Yeah, I'm gonna check my.
What you have on it? Did you have like immaculate like case, like writing on it? It had a sticker. It had writing. It had scratches, and it was missing the bumpers on the very back. Those bumpers are important.
I said it was signed by
with like a hot chick holding it. That's probably what happened.
You guys put it on the trampoline and he posed next to it.
Between my chest hair. I held the TI right, but yeah. Anyways,
Someone bought it.
This show is now turning a really bad corner.
Hey man, you asked the question earlier.
Let me ask you, Tim, if someone was to live and die by this one piece of advice, you could only give one advice. They can't do anything else their whole life besides listen to your one piece of advice. Their sales are not going so well. They want to boost their sales. They come to Tim Grapp like, I want one piece of advice. You have 10 seconds to tell them. What's that one piece of advice you could tell them to boost their sales? I'm sorry for putting.
I would just say change what you're doing. It makes no sense.
Something more specific.
I would run a sale. Try different methods. A lot of people, like even I know, what they'll do is they'll price their item up 5% and then put a sale for 5%. And all that does is make it seem like it's on a deal, and do that. Or if you want to just start moving stuff and you're not in deep on it, best offer, put a best offer on it. You just want to turn some inventory, get some capital back, just take a best offer, see how that goes. Maybe it's not as much as you wanted, but if you're complaining about slow sales, then you shouldn't be complaining about taking more sales, but just a little less money, I think.
Got it. Cool. Let's move on to Amazon FBA right now. We've got about 13 minutes left. I'm going to skip around a little bit because I do want to open up the floor for some questions.
Sure.
But let me ask you, what sourcing strategy do you enjoy most currently for buying and selling on Amazon? So this is the second question down. We skipped over the 5 items because we're kind of running low on time. But do you like thrifting, garage sales, retail, ARB? What do you recommend to the people out there who are new intermediates who want to start buying to sell on Amazon?
If you're a brand new beginner, you don't want to spend a lot of capital. You want to learn the process. You can jump right into Amazon. Before we get started here, I would say learn online selling maybe a little bit on eBay first before you move to Amazon, just for the fact that if you make a mistake on eBay, it's less harsh. It's not going to hurt you as bad as if you make a mistake on Amazon right away. So that's just one key point I wanted to tell people. Like, learn kind of the online world, eBay, before you move to Amazon, because if you make a mistake, eBay, it's going to hurt a little bit, but you'll get over it. On Amazon, you can shut down, you can not be allowed to sell anymore. So make your mistakes when, like eBay, you can take it a little bit better. That's one thing I would suggest. Now, when it comes to like sourcing inventory, definitely if you're brand new, low value, and money-wise that you're willing to spend capital, I would definitely hit up thrift stores and garage sales, number one, just because the items are so cheap. You can get them so cheap, and you don't have to risk so much. RA, I also do. That's going to be more risk, not as much profit margin, maybe easier in some ways to find items, but you might live on 50%, 30%, depending on where you're sitting at on those items. And I think there's more competition because there's not a lot.
Tim, may I ask you a question? How often in retail arbitrage do you sell an item that goes in, it shows 50%, by the time it's checked in, it's gone all over the USA, and it's landed at his warehouse, and it's at 20, right? I mean, that's a typical scenario when you do RA,
all the time. It sucks. And like, that's maybe like I do RA, but I don't as much, maybe, unless it's fourth quarter. Then I will, because the markups are always really good, right. And that value doesn't change because there's so much going. But like for me, I'm not super experienced in RA. I know majority how to do things, but I do get really annoyed with that, and it bugs me as a person, and it's negative maybe, and that's kind of why I cut it out a little bit. Where I'll pick an item, like there's 10, 15 of them here, and I purchase all of them. I'm going to make $20 on it when I ship it in. By the time I ship it in, I'm making $4 maybe, or I'm breaking even, or I'm losing a couple dollars. So it's not a bad thing. It's just kind of what you like to do, especially if you're just beginning. You normally have to pay up for items when you're doing RA, and there's a good chance when it gets there you're making only $1, $2 on that item. It happens. So I would definitely say thrift stores, garage sales to start.
Yeah, I would take the projected profit, divide by half, and then base your ROI on that, because that's kind of like real scenario there.
Well, and you got to think, as people, they'll have gift cards, they'll buy discount gift cards, they'll even like online arbitrage, they'll do that, and they'll combine them with other discounts, and they're automatically getting 10-20% less than you to start. So they're already 10-20% able to go lower than you,
right?
With RA, no way. So.
Hey, let me ask you guys, where do you guys see the future of Amazon FBA going in terms of like restrictions and selling products and sending in whatever you want, over these next couple of years? Because a lot of us have been enjoying this, this just gold mine of just being able to send in, sell whatever you want on Amazon. What about you, Tim? What do you believe? Where's Amazon going in terms of selling products, restrictions, all that, in your opinion?
I think there's going to be more. Obviously, there's going to be more restrictions, but I think I want to believe, but I also want to say, if anyone's deciding to sell on Amazon, if you for some reason think you're going to be able to sell there forever, you need to change how you're thinking. You could be shut off tomorrow, and I think you need to have a plan in place for that, and maybe have some reachable goals and some safe nets to put in place. But I don't want to discourage you either, because it's such a great platform. Do I think they're going to get rid of third-party sellers? I don't think so. I think they make too much money off of it. I look at it a couple different ways, where a lot of times the reason Amazon's so powerful is it's always got product. And the reason for that some of the time is third-party sellers. They'll run out of stock, and instead of just saying, oh, we're out of stock, sorry, we missed a sale, we missed a percent, they'll rather have a third party come in and still be able to sell it, so their brand looks good as always having product, while they're still making profit off the percentages you sell. So I don't think they'll get rid of us completely. I think there's going to be more restrictions. I think it's going to be harder for new people to start. That's why if you're new, you need to start today, tomorrow, right away. And that's kind of what I think about it.
Biggest mistake to avoid when selling on Amazon FBA, if you had to pick one or two things that are common mistakes that maybe you made in the past or you see others making as well.
Not testing used items thoroughly.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew it.
That was a great answer right there.
I knew he was going to say that, because that's the big one.
And with that, describing your items thoroughly.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like to the microscopic thing, but you need to, if it has some scratches on something, you need to state that. If it is missing a pamphlet or something that's somewhat maybe important or not important to you, you think, you need to state that. You need to describe it and test it thoroughly.
Yeah, you almost need to know what the original product came with, and then be able to be like, all right, this camcorder comes with, the carrying bag, case, lens cover, remote control, extra tape, so and so and so. Like, that's important. Or like, I always say requires 2 times AA battery or something like that. I always put that in there too, because I don't want my stuff weighing anymore, and I certainly don't want batteries to explode in the warehouse or anything like that.
Well, and they just put a new thing out with something to do with, I don't know if it's in place yet, but where you have to state or something if it's got alkaline batteries or something within the thing or something like that.
Well, they're going to corrode like in their warehouse if it's a long tail item. And you know how some people are just like, they don't understand FBA to its core. They don't understand that FBA really is a game of short, it's short and medium tail. Like, that's where people win, right? It's not this long tail stuff. Long tail items are still sitting in there, and people they don't want to get it, how do you say, like, not cremated, but you know what I'm talking about. You know the word.
Destroyed.
Destroyed, yeah. They're getting cremated, guys. Brad is cremating FBA product as we speak. But you know what I'm talking about. Like,
do you mind cremating my product instead of destroying it?
Tell them you want to come have a ceremony.
My item in a little urn. I want to have my FBA shipment from last year that never made anything in an urn on my fireplace, please.
Do you mind cremating it instead of destroying it and relisting it, Amazon?
Right.
Dude, that's the name that came to my mind. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think people are afraid to like get it sent back sometimes. They're afraid to get it cremated. And it's cheap. I know it's cheap. It's one and done. But also, last year they had remember that, Raiken? Remember that, Tim? They had like that window where like
it was
it's
free.
all free, dude.
Yeah.
And if you see that window pop up, I mean, go for it.
Yeah. Or just price it super low. Like, I had a couple of items that
you can do that too.
I was dumb, and I was in a garage sale high. I'm just buying everything, and the next thing I know, I send it in. I'm like, why did I buy that item? I have no idea. But I was like, I'll play the game, see if it sells. Didn't sell. Price it low, price it low, price it low. And then instead of sending it back, I ended up either making my money back or like a teeny bit for just pricing it low.
Chris, you want to go into the comments and see if anybody has any questions? If any of you folks watching right now have any questions or comments, drop a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to cremate that like button. Don't smash it. Cremate that like button.
Just light that baby on fire.
I need to
pulverize
on fire. Yeah, there was one here that's saying, do any of you guys get into the couponing aspect, either for FBA or eBay reselling? And which platform is more effective if you're considering doing the coupon approach? I don't know if I quite understand this question. Are they talking about selling coupons on these platforms? Because if you're going to resell coupons, you're going to do it on eBay. That's just what I mean. Or you can do it on your local, like Facebook sites or local Nextdoor or OfferUp. But I think that's what he's talking about.
I don't know.
We need more clarification on that one.
I'll look at coupons, and a lot of them they'll say not for resale, so that could be necessarily against the law. I don't know on some of those things.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get open Q&A right now for Timothy real quick. I had the distinct privilege of meeting you for the very first time, the last Green Room meetup. And I think the last time we met, and was it the nature hike that I met you for the first time?
Yeah, and that was the Frisbee endeavor as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we had a nature hike, and then we went to this water hole, and you were there with your fiance? I don't know. Wife?
Girlfriend of like 8 years. So basically.
Okay. Yeah, basically wife. Yeah. And we had a lot of fun. And then since, the Green Room meetup is one of those things where there's some outdoor stuff, there's some like fun stuff, and we're going to have seminars this year. And we maxed out our hotel deal. Raiken, it's official today. Our hotel deal is maxed out. In fact, I have to call back tomorrow to see if I can get a couple more. We cremated it. But it's a lot of fun. And you came from a very far away place. I mean, you traveled.
Yeah, I drove from Minnesota there.
From Minnesota to our Green Room meetup. You aren't the furthest, though. We had a guy from Australia fly in, and we had Julie Johnson from Seattle drive in. So she beat you but you're probably the third farthest one, I would say. Anyway, so here's some questions. Are videos worth it on eBay or Amazon? A lot of video games are getting restricted on Amazon now. Have you noticed that?
I actually, in one of my videos, I talked about like Mario Party 8 on Wii, you can't sell anymore. Mario Kart, unless you have the little wheel with it, but you can always get that. Certain DS games too, so that's another reason why you have to have like a platform like eBay as well. For when that happens, you still have a market for them.
Yeah. So for the people that are watching this right now, you make it happen in a place that has very dismal kind of opportunities, right? I know I missed that first part of the show, but I know exactly, like you and I have talked about that before. And you have, I remember when you first got into the Green Room, when you first put the post, there was a Q4 and you're like, I'm going to do my first, I remember you put a post on, I'm going to go for my first, all day sourcing thing, and you did 2.5 hours somewhere, and you spent the whole day there, and then after rush hour was done, you came back.
And
I was like, that is drive right there. Like, that is someone that wants to learn this game. So for someone that's in a precarious situation such as yourself, what's the number one piece of advice you could give someone that doesn't have maybe all the opportunities in the world to resell?
I would say do your research. You need to find your area out. You need to find out where you can do more sourcing, whether it is 2 hours, 3 hours. That's something you're going to need to do. Next thing is be prepared to work. It's not simple. I mean, you have to be in the right mindset to get up at 4 a.m. to drive 2.5 hours to be gone all day. And it's nuts, man. It's nuts.
A lot of coffee brewing.
I don't. You got to love it too, because when I'm gone, and I get done garage selling, then I transition to thrift stores. And then when those close at 8, 9 o'clock, I transition to Walmarts because they're open most time 24 hours. And I make a whole one-day trip. Let's say I get home at 2, 3 in the morning, and then the next day I'm start listing and getting done.
Awesome.
You gotta want it. You gotta set goals. A big motivator for me too is knowing that it could be gone tomorrow. And for that, I need to do the best I can with the time I'm given now, so I can have some safety nets, have some money in the bank, purchase like a house or something like that. Just be prepared and work towards those goals.
Yeah, one of our Green Room members, Brandon Penrod, who I met with and sold a bike to and everything, we got talking about his eBay business, and he cranked out like 80K in sales one month, and then 50K the month before, and then 35 the month before.
On Amazon.
On Amazon, yeah. Oh, sorry. So on Amazon, and we were talking about, I was like, what do you see in the foreseeable future? Do you see yourself slowing down? And his answer was, while this is hot and while it's still good, he's like, I don't know what's going to happen later. He's like, I'm just going to keep doing it because it's working.
Yep.
And that's what he's like. I know it won't work forever. He's like, but I'm trying to build up enough capital to do something big with it. Like in 2 years, he's like, hey, make another move. Exactly. He was like, it's still good. He's still crushing it. And And on a month that he barely even worked, he did like 50K in sales. Like he was like, I didn't touch a single store for like 4 weeks.
That freedom, man.
Like, that's crazy, man. Yeah.
You need it.
So it just shows you, like, you know, what you're saying is the exact same thing that he was saying, where, you know, I'm going to try to keep it going while I can, while the opportunity is still relatively there. Let me ask you this. Let me interrupt real quick and ask you this one last question. While you're working hard and listing and all that kind of stuff, maybe you're driving on these long drives. I mean, people resort to certain things: Joe Rogan podcast, other podcasts, Smart Passive Income. What's some of the stuff that you listen to make the time pass by?
I'll just listen to music. I'll listen to the radio. A lot of times I kind of like the quiet to start out the day. Some of the time too, I like to kind of get my thoughts in order, process, because it's weird, man. If you ever, maybe Jameson can kind of speak up for this, but when I'm there and I'm gone. Like I'm in like Terminator mode. It's weird. And
not
like,
there to make friends with anybody.
No, and like my girlfriend will want to like bring her friends because her friends like to garage sale and stuff. And I tell them, I was like, sure, you can come, but you know, you guys gonna have to drive separate. Because like I'm literally like I'm going from garage sale to garage sale to garage sale, just going. Yeah, I'm in the zone. So I like that quiet in the beginning, kind of get my thoughts in order. What am I going to look for? You know, tactics. Where am I going? I don't know. I just kind of like that quiet. Or I'll put some like Avenged Sevenfold on, or some good music.
That quiet full. Hey, I'm in that quiet world with some Avenged Sevenfold in the background.
I'm a very
Jeez, man.
Then I'll put some Avenged Sevenfold on. Then I'll listen to pop, and you know, it's whatever. It's just whatever I'm feeling that day.
Do you ever blame yourself after a day that's not well? That doesn't go well.
Good question.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you ever get hard on yourself and go,
oh yeah,
you know, like, oh, I should have done better, or like, you know, but do you sit there and go, oh, okay, I know what I did wrong, like that was bad, like, or do you kind of beat yourself up over a bad day?
So it depends on the moment. Like a good example is I beat myself up pretty bad the other day. I went to a garage sale, and I was by myself. No one was helping me, nothing. And I saw a neat scanner printer. Have you guys seen those? Where it's like you can put your credit card slips and all that stuff. And I had seen one kind of from afar, and I'm in my zone, and I instantly start going towards it. And I look at it, you know, I'm checking it over, and then I hear behind me, and I hear, oh, is that a good deal? And I look behind me. This lady's holding a Wii U with a bunch of games, and it was $15.
So what does a zoned out Tim look like? Let me ask you this real quick. What does a zoned out Tim look like when what do you look like? Yeah, give us the look on it real quick.
I'm gonna just like going right for it. Just going right for it. And like, you know, for me, especially like I'm in Terminator mode. So like you go through phases, especially at a garage sale. Like for me, I'm pulling up, I'm already scanning like the outlay and what to look for. Once I walk up, if I see a spot kind of electronics or something like that, you know, I'll normally head that way first. So I'm kind of like I'm doing a general scan before I start going into, you know, through everything. And with the Wii U, it was in a little not like the actual box for it, but it's like this little clear Tupperware thing. So you wouldn't have seen it unless you were looking at it. So I kind of was beating myself. I'm like, God dang it. You know, I scored on the printer. This printer was like $5 and it was like, it's like a $60 item. But I'm like, I could have just turned around just a little bit sooner before these two ladies picked it up. And sometimes you beat yourself, because for me, especially driving so far, like I need to hit as many good things as I can, like, you know, as much as I can. So when I make a mistake, it wasn't a mistake. It was just an instance where someone happened to get it before you.
How much was the Wii U?
$15.
Oh.
And the lady's like, I'm pretty sure that I felt better though, because it was like going to a family. It was going to like whatever. It was two older ladies for one of their.
No, they were resellers. Don't even fool yourself, man.
Well, they didn't know, because they're like it's $15. I think that's they're like I think it's a pretty good deal, and I'm just sitting there behind them. Bro. I'm just behind them.
You made it that Wii U, man. It took it away from me.
I almost turned around like, I'll give you 30. You know, something outrageous, but I just let them have it. But I ended up scoring some other stuff there, so it was all right. But I was driving away. I'm like, God dang it! If I would have just seen it, I would have just had it.
So
but
I
did really good.
Hands.
Yeah, they had it in their hands. Right? They had it.
What would you do if they were talking about it and they're standing in front of it and you didn't know it was for a family or whatever, and they're just looking at it? Would you pop on it and just, you know, Terminator mode?
No. I mean, if it was maybe like,
you got some etiquette.
What if their hand was on it? What if their hand was on the box?
I still would have.
Does that ring a bell?
I have good etiquette, I guess, for the most part. But if like you're not next to it, like I'll push you out of my way. Like I'll scoot in and just grab it, whatever it is. As long as you're not touching it, you're not looking at it, whatever. I actually had that happen to me at Savers. it was this Are You Afraid of the Dark board game, like old school Goosebumps or something like that. And it was brand new sealed, and I was going through and I was picking up board games, and this guy was kind of a little bit like 5 feet ahead of me, and I grab it and I put it in my cart, and he turns around and he's like, you're lucky that that was there. I was gonna buy that. And he was just like super rude. He's like, you're lucky you picked that up and put in your cart. And I was like, yeah, thanks, I was. And I just kept going.
I'm scared. I don't even know what he looks like.
I don't know what his deal was, man. He was just like, you're lucky that was in your cart. And he's like, he's a pretty big dude. I'm like, yeah, it's in my cart, thanks. And I just kept doing my thing. And he just kept like walking around. I'm like, I don't care. It's in my cart. Look at the camera. You didn't have it in your possession. You didn't have it in your cart.
Man,
it's not yours.
You could have terminated that guy if you wanted to.
If you're at a thrift store, just get it in your cart. If you guys see something, I see some like resellers, they'll like look at it and put it back, and they're like on their like phone, like
no, that's a no.
It's different than a garage sale.
I just go through and anything I see that I'm interested in, I just into the cart.
That's right. And you analyze it later, like the same with thrift stores. If you're sitting there trying to analyze each and every item, like right there as you come up to it, biggest mistake you can make. Huge mistake.
Mm-hmm. I had someone I saw, I don't know where it was, but they complained about it. It was either on a different group or something. They're like, I hate the people that just put things in their cart and check it later in a corner. I'm like, you're just
tactics.
salty.
Yeah,
you're just salty because you didn't get the item. Maybe you should go faster and get it,
Yeah.
It's all luck sometimes. You got to be there at the right time. I mean, if they come back an hour later, there'll be more deals. So great tips. Appreciate it, Tim. Chris, thanks for stopping by after making some money on Craigslist. No, I'm just kidding. 5%. We had a mix up on time, so it was my fault. But anyways, appreciate you guys stopping by. Chris, what can they do if they enjoyed the video? And do you have any updates or anything that you want to mention to the 171
I'll give the update to you in a second. But guys, take 1 second, hit the like button. We always want to get really cool reseller stories in front of you guys, or just cutting edge things that you can make money, whether it's digital based or being an entrepreneur based kind of thing. Hit the like button for that kind of stuff. You'll also probably see this video on my channel eventually too. But we do have the meetup coming up. And I want to say thank you to Tim Grapp. It's really cool to see you again, man. It really is.
And his YouTube channel too. Let's shout that out.
That's right. Yeah, the YouTube channel. What is it?
Make Cash Money.
And you're going crazy at it because I'm subscribed to you, and there's a video nearly every day.
Yeah, I'm really trying to put some work into it. So right now,
killing our thumbnails, Raiken. Just so you know, this dude doesn't play around.
Yeah, right now I just uploaded I uploaded today. I uploaded yesterday. I'm doing a small, just a little giveaway to give back to you guys for subscribing to me and writing comments. I really appreciate just anything you guys comment to me. I like to look at and try to reply to everybody. So, I'm just doing a $10 gift card to Subway, $10 gift card to McDonald's, and like a $5 gift card to Target, just to kind of give back. Just something fun for you guys to interact with. I'm doing it all through a program called Gleam. So it's all dealt with, and you don't have to worry about people doing loopholes, trying to get more entries into it. Just something fun for you guys to do.
So there's a question from Thrifty Treasures. Hey, Timothy, can you comment here so we can see your channel name? Raiken will put it on the description.
It's in the description. It's like the third link. Okay. Because if you type in Make Cash Money, you're going to get like 3,000 like Ponzi scheme. Like,
dude, I'm gonna be at the top of that list, man. Watch out.
But yeah, thank you for coming here, Tim. It's really good to see you. One of the updates I wanted to toss to Raiken was that our tickets are closing off soon for this thing, right?
Yeah.
So the big on the horizon. You're going to hear it a lot from our channels, just so you guys know. And it's not because any other reason, because we just want the last of the last to come to it. And Raiken, when is this cutoff date for our tickets for our green room meetup?
Yeah, so the cutoff date you've got to be a green room member. It's kind of like a green room event. I'm sure in the future we'll probably do an event for like the public, but we're just keeping it close knit, people that are committed and whatnot. But the cutoff date is actually July 1st, right? July 1st is the cutoff. I don't have the date in front of me. Yeah, it's July 1st, I want to say.
Yes.
Yeah, July 1st. So there's 9 days left. So if you are a green room member and you want to come to the event, greenroomuniversity.com/tickets, and you can get your ticket. It's a 4-day thing. We've got a seminar. We have dinner event, which is like 6 hours, dancing, DJing, hikes, walks, networking. I mean, water
fun. Let me clarify on one thing. The ticket will get you into the event, and it will likely get you into the seminar as well. Everything outside of that right now that we know of, I think is still open to the public. So we want you to meet our green room members. We want you to interact with them. And we want you to, you know, show them a fun time in Austin, Texas as well. But the two things that are closed off are going to be the actual event itself, which is on Saturday. It's a 6-hour event, and the seminar itself, which is damn near all of Thursday. So, but outside of that, we want you to come around. Come around. If you're not a green room member, come around. You know, meet the crew and hang out with us. You know, let's have some fun. So
yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Again, if you guys haven't already gotten 100 amazing items to resell, down below, check that out. I mean, obviously, if you're not subscribed to the Bonafide Hustler, subscribe to him. Make cash money, link in the description. And with that being said, bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. And next week, Bonafide Hustlers channel, Green Room Show.
Yep.
Cash money. Let me hold on. Let me put you in, man.
We're going, man.
All right, guys.
If you want more of this, we go to my channel. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we'll have a great guest next week on my channel.
All right, see you guys.